Yeah.
I'd like to revise that statement, if I may. From the perspective of that we already have everything.
We're rediscovering ourselves.
Well, the challenge is that we have everything, but we've kind of lost access to it.
Mm.
That's not really the right wording either, but anyways, but the everything that we already have, what's innate in us, has somehow become out of reach to us. And awareness and consciousness is bringing it back into focus.
Yeah, I really like that because it feels less resistance when you already have it, but you're just maybe not aware of it.
Yeah, we tend to look outside of ourselves for what we think is missing. When nothing is actually missing. I was gifted with a session yesterday with someone in the Magmind community who knows me really, really well. And we uncovered a resistance to living. A resistance to actually living. And holy crap, what a shift that was for me. So my word for today is living. And that's already a huge breakthrough for me. Because as you guys have witnessed over the last few months, you've seen my true nature come out. And you haven't seen nothing yet. It's like, oh my gosh. So I'm going to take the hint from Jenny. I'm going to take the hint from Jenny and I'm going to add unconditional living.
Oh my gosh.
Word unconditional to that. Thank you, Jenny.
Oh, I love that. It's actually
Yeah.
funny because as I was listening and as Jenny started with love, it couldn't be a better word for starting. And then discovering is one of the most beautiful things that we can discover ourselves. But when you said living, my word of the day was life. That was my word for the day, life, because life is so precious. It's a gift. And yeah, so what came to me is I love to love. That's basically what it is. It's down to that. It's nothing else that adds on. I just love to love. And for me to, may we never learn how to practice love. Love is a verb, not a permanent state of enthusiasm, you know? And yeah, it's this whole self-discovering, and it all starts with self. And when we can give that to ourselves, we can give it to others. It's like you always think others must give it to you, or it's outside of you, as you said, or thinking that the power is outside of you, but the power has always been within you, you know? And it's just, yeah, it's just wonderful to collaborate and to be able to gather this and to witness it, like literally witness it in a human, as a human, you know? Because there's so much more still to come. We haven't even touched the surface yet. And can you imagine? Can you just imagine? And I am going to use my imagination to really live my life every single day to the best I can possibly can, because what I've allowed, or what I've exposed, or what has been done, it's over. It's all gone. That's gone. It's all a new understanding, a new beginning. And I think it starts with that. It starts with that love. But living, being alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And literally living your last day like it's your last day. Like that, you know that quote when they say live your life like it's your last day? And I mean it. Live your life like it's your last day on earth. Because you never know when you're going to be leaving, hey?
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people think, oh, you know, for example, just giving you an example, you know, it's like I lost somebody that was only 47 years old just yesterday. I mean, I'm just giving an example, you know. He's 47, 5 kids, healthy, strong, you know, loved his, you know, everything was going for him. And that's what happened.
Yep.
Unexpectedly, it just happened, you know. And yeah, so when you can really live your life and be grateful for it, just if it's just one thing, it will carry you through your rest of your days.
Yeah,
so,
Nikki.
my word of the day is life, living. And when you said that, it just lit me up. Like I thought, oh my God, that's so cool. Because it's so cool. And like, this is what I think Jenny said. It's so awesome. You know, we just say words, like we just randomly say things, you know, like it's just a word, but it's very powerful, these words. So powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also very thankful.
Yeah. I realized that I had developed a pattern of barely living and barely loving. And I had been trying to force it.
When Jenny said about she'll change it to unconditional love, because it came with so many conditions, because it, you know, love is something of like you say, many, many layers, you know, and how you perceive it for yourself. Because as we spoke before, we weren't demonstrated it properly, right? People love you, but they were abusing you in the same time. It's just, you know, I mean, you know, it can, yeah. And then you say, oh, well, that's love. That's not love, right? You know, I mean, that control of like can't be your own person, can't do what you want when you want, you have to be 24/7 accountable to this other person. That's not love. You know, it's control. Love also when you want other people to do what you want them to do, when how you want it. It's love is not selfish, but that's not love. And people think that's love here. You know, it's not love. That's not love. Love is when you can be completely 100% doing what you're choosing from your heart, like literally feeling it from your heart. That's your love. When there's nothing that can stop you, that it just can push you further and further and further to be your best. That's love. It's not comparisons, it's not jealous, it's not rude. Yeah.
No, it's just really, really loose.
It's when that person can be free in loving themselves and having to love in such a way that they're free, they're completely free. That there's just freedom in that. Yeah. Yeah. Very powerful.
Yeah, I would add the word thriving in living.
I like that word, thriving. Thriving.
Because for me, living is a good thing, obviously, but it feels limited.
Not if you're in the present, not if you're living in your present and in your power. There's unlimited. Because thriving is also something that you're pushing for, something that you're choosing that you haven't got yet. That's also a thrive. That can also be a negative. So in the end of the day, you know, you can thrive for all you want, but doesn't mean you're going to get it. When you can be in your power right here, right now, living, just because you got breath in you, your heart's beating, there's blood running through there's all your limbs, everything's working 100%. You can see, you can hear, you have a roof over your head, you have internet, you're gathering with friends, the sun is shining, even if it's raining, whatever, it's living. That's living with no condition, and that's unconditional love. It's not coming with conditions, not coming with rules and regulations. It's coming with pure, organic, right here, right now. Here I am. And just like Craig says, there's nothing to add on. We had it always. It's coming back to yourself. It's coming back to your source of knowing that you have what it takes, because you are the energy. Wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. You have it already. And just like Craig said yesterday, there's nothing that needs to be added. Doesn't need a partner. Doesn't need a certain amount of money or status or you know. Sometimes you have to lose to gain. Sometimes you have to lose a game to win. So it's thriving is something that, yes, I love the word thrive, because you must thrive for, you know, live with you know, thriving. I'm thriving. But every day I thrive. Every day I live my best living life. Because I'm in this present moment. Yesterday's gone. Today I live for today. I don't carry the baggage that was yesterday. I don't carry what was or last week or the week before, months or years ago. And this is what living is about, because we forget about how to also live, to rest, to come into a rest place and just to be here in your heart and just rest. Because that's, unfortunately, humans have just been go, 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 be, do, do, do. But it's also to rest. Because that's when you really get recharged. That's when you really understand how your body, and even so scientifically say, rest when you have to study. Give yourself 10 minutes to walk away and just rest. Same with exercise. You can exercise, but it's actually the resting of having a rest day is because you have to allow your muscles to rest. Because then otherwise you overwork. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. But I get this picture of living versus thriving. And I got this picture of like a sick person in like a hospital bed is living, and he's probably in the present time. But it depends on definition, right? So, but a person that thrive, he's healthy, he's doing what he loves, like, that's why I came from it.
Yeah, but somebody that's in hospital that is sick is not living. They're not living. They're sick. They're not living.
But yeah, it depends your definition of living. That's the thing, right? So for me, a living being is someone that's breathing, that their heartbeat is beating, and like all that.
I hear that.
So that's why I like better thriving. But like, if you take your definition, then that makes a lot of sense too, right? So agree to disagree, right? So
no, I hear this, and this is what's so powerful, because now I understand what you're saying. Because like Craig says, you can live, but you can go through the emotions. Okay, I understand that too. So, but for me, and my concept of living right now is my present, in knowing that there's nothing more to add on to my life than right here, right now. Because I am saying this, and I'm very thankful. Like I said this morning, I'm very, very thankful that I can truly say that I'm satisfied. I am satisfied. I'm not saying everything's working 100%, because there's no such thing, right? But I can be satisfied in my living in right now in what I am, because I have the gratitude of, firstly, the love that I have for myself. This is something that I have thrived for my whole life. This is what I thrive for, is love and having healthy relationships, but mainly having a healthy relationship with myself. And that I can live in this body, in this human form, in this bodysuit, and truly say, you're never going to arrive. But what's beautiful about the creation of being a creator, I get to now create. I get to now really go and let that love thrive and allow me to be. Because in the end, I think what humans really need is that love. And I'm speaking from a woman point of view. Women need love. Men need respect. They need to be, it's just what they thrive. That's men can go through a hell of a lot of suffering. I'm just giving an example, like really hardship. But if you can give the respect, the admiration, the love too, but more so the appreciation, that's when they'll go even further. They can go even further. But with women, as we speak about love now, this is our main source, is to have that love. And I'm not speaking just for me. I'm speaking for all women. This is gospel truth. Women need love. They need to be told they are loved. They need to be told, I love you, from their partner. They need to be told, I love you, constantly throughout the day. You maybe think it's like a little like, wow, that's over the top. But no, that's what they need. And if you give people what they need, it can take them to the like really nothing can stop them, because that's the condition of what drives them, what they really need. Then you thrive. Then you really will thrive.
Yeah, for me, more important than just saying it is demonstrating your
Yeah,
love.
but it's important to say it. It's important also to say why I say that is because it's demonstration. It's all people can say a lot of things to you and they don't mean it by their actions. But we're talking about verbalizing. We're talking about a verb now. Love is a verb. It's an action. So when you say I love you, yeah, this is something I'm just saying, not as giving understanding. Of course, it must follow with action. A lot of people can love you, like I said, they can love you, but at the same time, they can be hitting on you, or beating on you. I mean, that's not love. I gave that demonstration. That's very clear. But when you know that you are loved properly by demonstrating, obviously, and it doesn't mean about material things. It's just that knowing that you are loved. People can thrive just on that. Especially children, if they know they're loved, they can thrive. I say it multiple times to my son, and he doesn't have to respond to me. I demonstrate it constantly, but I tell him constantly too, I love you. He knows when he walks out that door, he is loved, and he's knowing that no matter what opinion outside, if it's coming from his headmaster, his teacher, his friend, cafeteria, whoever could purchase him, he knows he's loved, and that is all he needs to know. Because in society, you can only, people can project their insecurities on you and tell you who you are, if you don't know who you are. But if you know you're loved, that's the foundation. That's the foundation. And that is what we need to get back to, is the foundation, the basics. And that's what Craig is just explaining. We have everything. We just need to come back to our basics, and don't put conditions on it. Don't put all these rules. You don't do that for me, so I'm not going to do that for you. It's like, I'm going to, like, you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. It's just like eye for an eye. It's such a low form of vibration to live in that living space. So it's all about demonstration. Behavior is the highest form of information. And I'm very passionate, as you can hear. I'm very passionate about love, because that's been a purpose. That's been something that I feel in my heart that people don't have enough of, and they have not demonstrated it, and people have not shown it because they fear it. But there's nothing to fear when you know love is. It's nothing to fear in love. But once there is fear, then love is not there. Once it's judgment, love is not there. Trying to prove somebody wrong, love is not there. Love doesn't need, love is just, it's just there. It's just putting a smile on somebody's face. Love is just making a coffee early in the morning for somebody. Love is just considering and being kind. Love is sharing, giving. And I think most importantly, when you leave somebody, you feel better about yourself. That's love. And also when you love somebody, you tell them with love.
Yeah, I just realized another part of that pattern that I was talking about was about is part of the part of the holding back, or
Mm,
like when I said barely living, barely loving.
mm,
I'm just realizing that part of the pattern was loving with resentment and living with resentment, like projecting resentment into the love that I was giving, or projecting resentment into the life that I was living. Whoa, that's a really big one.
What do you mean by that? I need to understand. Did you have resentment when you felt like you had to love? What do you mean by that?
Um,
Can you explain? I don't know whether.
yeah, I'll explain it from the viewpoint of a death experience, right? So I died. I go back to the other side and have a little tete-a-tete with God, and God says, "Okay, Craig, why are you here? It's not your time yet." So I'm not given a choice. I'm sent back. Apparently the choice was already made, but I was sent back. But I was very resentful. Like I was very pissed off at God for sending me back. And so, yeah, I'll go back, but I'm going to resent the fact that I'm back. I'm going to resent the So what I see is that one of the sources of the pain that I've experienced in my lifetime is around that resentment.
Do you still have resentment
If I
now?
have to, well, that's being healed right now. But
Nice.
but the awareness of that whole resentful attitude, you know, and it was a sense for me, it was an interpretation that I was being forced. Okay, it's like when it's when your parent makes you say you're sorry to some kid who's just whacked you in the face. You know what I mean? It's that kind of a feeling. It's like you're forced to do something that you perceive as not just or not correct or whatever. It's like, you know, be the bigger person, that kind of thing. Yeah. So there's a lot of charging there.
That's a lot of letting go there,
Yeah.
hey?
Yeah.
We spoke yesterday about that. That's huge.
Yeah.
That letting go.
Yeah.
Because I think the worst thing is to have resentment, to have regrets. It's a heavy load to carry. It's a heavy load. And it's beautiful to think that you can acknowledge that, and now you can finally, you know, live and not just go through the motions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because it's numb, you know, you can't feel. It's numb. It's like, I know that feeling.
That's
I know
exactly
that
the
feeling.
body feeling that showed up.
Yeah, it's
right?
numb. It's just
it's
numb.
like one whole side of my body ends up numb. In fact, even just talking about it right now, I'm feeling the sensation of numbness in half of my body right now.
But that's also release. That's releasing too, huh, Craig? That's a release.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Because you're acknowledging this wholeness.
Yeah. Yeah, my body is acknowledging the truth of what I just said.
And your true choice that you've been verbalizing, the true choice, the desires of your heart. I mean, and what you also said that really struck me when you said to Hannah, I giggled. I know you obviously didn't see me because I was off camera, but you said, I have quite a good heart.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good heart. And that is a beautiful thing, That's such a beautiful thing to acknowledge, that you have a beautiful heart. Because a lot of things that you carry, that words, you weigh a lot of words and a lot of experiences, and let's face it, pain is pain. But when you can acknowledge your heart is pretty good, it's pretty good. Those were your words. You say, I've got a pretty good heart. I've got a good heart, And
well, and here's the other side
I was very happy
here's
to
the other
hear that.
side of resentment. Yeah, here's the other side of resentment, is that it's kind of shown up for me as a way to blame my heart for what's going on.
Yeah, but that's a sabotage.
But listen to what I just said. It's like it's shown up for me as a blaming my heart for it, instead of realizing that it's resentment. It's that projection of resentment. So what I'm saying is, I'm realizing that I projected that resentment onto my heart and then blamed my heart for it. And it didn't come from my heart. It didn't come from my heart. No. It came from an interpretation and a misunderstanding.
Isn't that true?
That had nothing to do with my
most
heart.
Most of us are walking around like this. This is what we're all about. This is what we're talking about. It's basically, we all have a heart. Every single person has a heart. Can like them or not like them. We all got a heart. We all got to acknowledge that we all have a heart. Yeah. And when you can see the heart, when you can really see the heart beyond what is showing you up front in what you physically can see, things can start really changing. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, totally.
We are getting there. We're definitely getting there. And this is why, right now we are here, doing the work. Because this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not just going to fall on your lap. This is the work. This is what we're doing right here, right now. This is very powerful, what we're doing right now. Yeah, very, 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 very powerful.
Yeah. Well, and I realized that I've been attacking my own life force, right?
Oh, absolute. And when you get out of that prison,
this is huge for me.
It's huge, and it's like the keys of your heart. You're taking the keys back.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, and I just say grats to you, because you're still alive. You're still alive, and you can experience this alive, living. Because once we leave this body, we're never going to experience this again. We don't experience it, we don't experience nice coffee, going outside, looking outside in the nature. We don't have that. We won't have each other. This is the now. It's now.
Yeah.
This moment. And to be able to be here in this now moment, to say, this is who you are now. This is letting go.
How many people are there out there that don't actually experience life to the full?
Plenty. I was one of them.
Yeah.
Because I was striving to succeed, to prove, not having that, not worthy enough. Constantly, my worst enemy. I was my worst enemy. I was the one that stopped me. No one stopped me, only me. And then I realized where I was putting my power and where I was focusing. What was I focusing on? Now I'm very careful with my words. I'm very careful with the pictures I play in my head. I don't replay. If it doesn't add on to my life and it doesn't give me what my purpose is, I throw it out. It's garbage. Go straight into the trash. I don't entertain what
Reminds
was.
me of some words that somebody I really admire said once. I have come to give you life.
Mm.
And life in
Life in
abundance.
Yes, yes, yes. I was gonna say that too, but I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you, Craig. Life in abundance. Amen. Christ conscious, there, baby. And you can label it.
Yeah.
You can name it. Jesus Christ, God Infinity. Call it whatever you want to call it. But that is it. I give you life in abundance, that you will not perish, but have eternal life. Eternal life. Not just on this earth. This is just part of it. We have eternity. We're going through eternity. We never die. We're just going to reconnect. We're just going to go further and further. This is why if you do not learn the lessons now, it's going to repeat. It will just come back and we'll learn it again and again till you learn. This is why learning is so powerful. You can't get it wrong. You know, the learning loop is the action and then the result, then the feedback, and then the learning again. And it goes again, action, then result, then the feedback, and then the learning again. I'm a person, you know, I can get into identity of telling me years back when I started in my life that I would never be able to learn. I mean, this is an identity that you can put on you and you can label it and you can go through your whole life thinking, oh, okay. But no, my dear, you get to really show up and say, no, not today. I choose life. Choose it in abundance. And it doesn't mean where you live, what you have, what's in the bank. You have life. You owe it to yourself to choose you.
For me, I'm just wanting to strip back all those interpretations that I've been taught.
Yeah.
And just choose life of a certain quality.
Yeah. I think Jesse said yesterday, but it was clear because I was cut off with my internet because I was also outside. It wasn't inside. But we're basically coming back, claiming what we as children, we're claiming back of what we're discovering and how to break the cycles and the programs. Yeah. And that is all fresh. It's nothing new, but it's all fresh. Because it's you know, having to know that when I heard about the relationship that, you know, you were talking about his mum and the egos and everything, I can say that, you know, also I can resonate because that's what I also had experienced. And it was a battle. It was a real battle. But as a child, I didn't also have that authority. I had to obey. I had to obey. And so with that condition, it's conditioned in you that you need to then be submission, you know, like let people, you know, as a pleaser and doing everything for everybody else and not for myself, because who am I? I'm nobody. That's the concept that was put in me. So it's something where, you know, you go through many experiences, and then you go to the place, and I can truly say that I thrive, man. I live thriving, knowing that I can be here in this time and space, and I can wake up in the morning and say, I love me. And not only love me, I love my life. I love my life. In every degree, I love my life.
That's interesting, because I remember the day I was in a session with Jesse.
Yeah.
And there's a few other people in there, and I mentioned that I had gone through the 4 core choices, and I ran into a real conflict inside living a life I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the term life and the term love were in conflict with each other inside me. I recognize that.
Yeah, I can.
And so it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting even coming to today.
Yeah.
Where I'm just discovering what that conflict actually is.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's very, awareness is a wonderful thing.
Oh, there's it. Awareness. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect
awareness.
time, perfect order.
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect way.
Perfect way, because this is what you said, what I love. Whatever you had to lose, you had to gain, right? But you wouldn't have known what you gained if you haven't lost something. This is the same thing that we all have to deal with, all emotions. You know, it's okay to deal with all these emotions, because then you know how it feels to be happy, because you know how it feels to be sad. You know how it's nice to have a summer day because you've had a winter day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're not here to be 24/7 walking on the clouds here. You're here to experience everything. Nothing's bad. Nothing's good. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's right. It's just what it is. And when we can look at it like that, in those lenses, they will be absolutely blissful. That's when you live in your true nature. That's when you truly know that it doesn't mean with the conditions and circumstances. My peace and joy is in God. It's not in my circumstances. You know?
Yeah, but that's only the beginning.
That's what I'm talking about. But it starts with beginning. But we never had the beginning. We've got to get back to the beginning. We've got to get back to the basis.
Yeah.
And this is
Can
all
I give you
we're
my
doing.
perspective on that loss that I was talking about yesterday?
Yeah, sure.
Because what I realized here is that I went through a whole experience of disconnecting from that resentful life that I was living. I lost it. I lost that resentful life.
Yes, I heard that.
And in losing it, I realized that I didn't need that kind of life.
Yeah.
I realized that I could actually live beyond that and live without that.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Thank you. I'm glad I shared this. Glad you shared.
So that's new for me. That's really new for me.
Absolutely. That's what I'm glad you shared. I'm glad you shared. I'm glad you shared it. Beautiful.
And it was painful and very radical to go through that.
Man. No question. No question about it, man.
But also a very, very deep blessing.
we need space to practice our breakthroughs.
Yeah, I need space to let it sink in.
Good. So good, Jesse. Yes.
To let it integrate. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's like it. Thank you. That's beautiful.
It's the other side of what caused us to go limited. And what caused us to go limited, just as a child, is the only thing that was the common denominator was us in all of the situations. So of course, the only one left to blame, because everyone else was telling us, was ourselves. And to come out of that, we have to release them. We have to say it, and then we have to be like to gauge it. It's like, oh, was that true all the way through? And so my word for the day is listening to the charge of life.
Yes.
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned yesterday or the day before the concept of deep listening. To me, that's the greatest takeaway from the greatest value in meeting together like this every day, is that I know my listening has gotten deeper and deeper, and that includes listening to myself and what's going on inside. That's extremely valuable.
Hmm. It is what everyone wants. A space that they can speak, a space that they can share, a space they can throw it out there and then let go of what we don't want and take with us what we do.
Yeah, and the other side of that is being heard. Like being really and truly heard.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a deep sharing side that goes with that as well.
And the shared vulnerability.
Yeah. Because being heard gives you the courage to share more deeply.
Which leads to bigger breakthroughs.
Yep. Yeah, they're deeper, they're more foundational.
Mhm.
Jenny, can you mute, please?
All right, so first hour, what do we wrap first hour into? Wonderful words. Jenny, thank you for unconditional love, opening us up, opening that container, the space, and giving the focus. So the leadership and following that. Pascal with your self-discovery. Discovering self, discovering truth, discovering your passions. It's been a fun journey. Jenny, I'm going to mute you. Thank you. If you just need to just make sure you unmute. Thanks. Just a lot of rattling I hear in the background. Craig, for joy of living, unconditionally. Nikki, living the joy of life. And mine, listening, the space opening, be allowing to be heard, our charge of life. In a space that we gathered to reveal our hearts, our truths, our resistances, our limitations, knowing that we won't be judged, we won't be criticized, we won't be held back. Because that just keeps it oscillating. It just keeps it in that feedback circle. Here we can see the feedback. We allow the feedback. And as a group, as an organism together, we get to let it go. And letting it go happens when we find another choice, an opportunity, a could. There's another way it could be here. And then when we as creators see that, we know that exists in every possibility. In every situation, we can always choose something different. That is a powerful creator when we know that. There's my launch pad for the next space. I'm off my platform.
I just want to say thank you for letting me think out loud.
Yeah.
And that is what yesterday of what letting go of. And what you just said, that we can just now make choices and just get to choose something different.
Hmm. Listening for choices. Listening for could. Hmm. And when people can do that, they scatter. They go. And it's fun and a bit of sad too, can be. But then it's just a selfishness in that sadness. And when we notice that, you can just wash it out. When I do that, I'm pure, refreshed, rejuvenated. I can choose again.
I just noticed some compensating inside the resentment.
So a reward. Of course, we get something from it. Of course, we'll get something from even our dysfunctional patterns. We get something from them. Is it in that way, Craig?
No, it's more of a pressure to compensate for.
Ah. Mm.
To be happy despite. Forced happiness might be a better way to put it.
Fighting frustration. Witnessed that last night. My son, he was just didn't know. He said, I don't know. He says, I'm angry about it all. Yep. He said, it's been a while since I've been angry about like this. I said, yeah, I know. Find the source. What's the source? Oh, it's this. We have them. We have to. And if we force happiness, that of course won't work either.
Compensating for anger. Unexpressed anger. Appearing to be happy when you're right angry.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This is Jenny. There's my summary, if I may.
Sure.
So we free to choose the feelings. We're free to choose the next step, but sometimes we get caught up in the emotion that we have to make a choice right there, right now. But being able to choose to listen to yourself or to listen to your intuition and knowing that we have the answer, we know the choice, we have to choose to wait sometimes for the answer. And
Mm-hmm.
that's okay.
Yep.
We may not always know what the answer is, doesn't mean that we have to be obsessing about it or upset about it or angry or whatever that negative thing is for us. We all have our patterns that we have learned since little children, and it's hard to break it unless we choose to do so. We choose to be free by being able to walk away. But just listen. Now, it's hard for me sometimes. It's not to express my opinion, but I have to choose to tell myself, "Well, you just listen. You don't always have to express your opinions. They're my opinions. They are my experiences. They're my patterns. Doesn't mean that I have to put it on someone else, despite the fact I might feel it's right."
Hmm.
So
Mm.
to me, everything that we started today from love, unconditional love, it's kind of escalated to not escalated, that's the wrong word. Oh, choose to use the word carefully. That's another one. Because once you said the word, you can't unsay it. And that could really hurt somebody. But of course, it's their choice to accept it as a hurt, but they may
Mm.
not be at the same level as we are. And
Mm.
even us sometimes, the one that knowing what we want to choose, we can't always choose it right because those the old patterns. And it's not going to happen overnight. How
Mm.
many years it took us to get here?
Mm.
So
Yes, yes.
my biggest thing is like knowing that we have a freedom of choice, and we forget that. I know I am. I get upset sometimes, and then I step back and say, hold on a minute. Is it really a big deal? But I think the awareness of the choice and awareness of the power of intuition and the power overall we have over ourselves first is such a wonderful feeling that we should just hold on to and don't forget that we are powerful and we're free. And we just have to choose it. Now, with it easier said than done, some days, of course. We are human and we get emotional. But seeing emotions is not a negative thing, and choosing to see emotion is just a signal. Is it true? Or is it our ego getting in the way? I don't know. Kind of ponder that. So that's my thing. If we can focus on, well, a focus is interesting word, because I try to remove the condition out of the emotions. But focus to me, I don't know how for you, the rest of you, focus is not really a condition. It's gathering the energy and the power of choice. What does focus means to you guys? Anybody? I love the word focus because it's giving me the power to choose. Anyway, that's kind of my summary. And I'm not always living that, but I'm okay with that because I can choose to be okay with that. I think that's the greatest gift, is knowing that we have all those choices, we have the power. And if we not always have it at that moment, it's okay. We're human, we're not perfect, but we have everything.
Wow.
But we
Is
have
it?
everything. But we have everything
Is
we
it?
need at our disposal. We just have to
Is it?
knowing.
There's it. You, there's it.
I'm
Subject
glad that
closed. We can all go home now. We
I'm
can
glad
all
that
go home.
I'm glad
Okay.
Bill pointed out that
Metafocus. Let me tell you, Jenny, I'm telling you, I've got a smile on my face. We're all at home, wherever we are, if it's in the truck, if it's in the garden, or wherever. But that, you have touched base. That's the foundation I'm talking about. That's the basics. This is so beautifully said. And it's so, this of being in a heart-centered where we can know where people are, because everyone comes in different forms and shapes. Everyone comes from different experiences. Everybody's coming from a different reality. We are not living the same reality as much as we know. But what we can say, where you focus becomes your reality. Yeah. And so that I really treasure what you say. I love, love, love.
well,
Thank you. No, thank you. Thank
listen,
you.
I've had, when Chris will say you have to listen to intuition, and it's like, I haven't been on the calls for a long time. And this morning I said, I got to get on the call. It's like I had that feeling, like, I got to get on the call. Thank you for listening, and my pleasure to spread the joy of love, joy, and freedom on this happy Valentine's Day. I truly love you guys.
Mm. Mm. Thank you, Jenny.
Straight
Love
back at
you.
you, Jenny. I love you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Wisdom. That was brilliant wisdom. Thank you. Focus for me is aware. And its attention is like focus is, I think, is like if I focus my energy, and that's what I observe. So that's the best. And then it's like, is that what I want my focus? And so it's always a redefining focus with the questions when I'm aware of it. So that's how I work on focus. And I think as best I can, it comes to what do I want as the backdrop to focus, when I can remember, when I can train myself to do that. It's a skill, I think.
Yeah, the skill is in keeping it conscious.
And it's a practice.
Like, where's my focus now?
Mm-hmm.
Where's my focus now? You know what I mean? Like, it's,
yeah,
because it keeps changing all the time, right?
yes.
So being aware of where your focus is.
Space and time show up for me. Those are things that I can see as space and time to help aware of the focus. Because it's either we're focused on what we want, or we're focused on what we don't want. It's only those two. And if we can break life into that two categories, it's like, oh man, we can really begin to see where our focus is feeding.
Yeah, for anyone who's had chronic pain that's extreme, it's the biggest difficulty with that is not focusing on it.
Yeah,
because it's there, and it kind of pervades all of your perception.
Yes, I trying to learn that with that skill, I have no idea. I don't know.
Well, I don't either. Because I
know
live
few that do.
It's still, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Pascal, And I don't know if you just checking in on self-discovery, and you may be out driving the truck this morning too. So just want to make sure I got space for you, man. And if you want to, none need to now. What else? I can't say for sure, but what else? Space and time is a focus. I look at space and time. And when I think of time, it's is my focus to the past or the future? Because I want it on the now. I want it right here in the now. We've been conditioned, though, that that's not the place to be focusing. And then if I think of my space, I think of my charges as positive or negative or neutral. And so focuses, those are the things that I shift between in my focuses. Not like I'm focused on because I'm focused on what I want, but I use space and time as is it what I want in the moment of now? And so that's my criteria that I use to notice. And refocus usually is what I find is it's a refocus into what I want because a pattern had come in and pulled me away. All right, well, maybe we're complete.
Yeah, I'm complete. This was beautiful. Beautiful self-discovery, life, living, oh, listening. Oh, powerful.
Beautiful. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, may the day bless you with all the sunshine, love, and joy and
Oh, I feel that.
freedom.
I feel it.
I am so
I feel
grateful
it.
that I listened to my intuition and got on this goal.
That's right. Me too. I'm as grateful for you.
Thank you, guys. I gotta go back
But
to my happy bubble. Going to work.
All right, Jenny.
Okay.
Bye, Jenny.
thank you, Jenny.
Bye,
Bye.
Jenny.
Yes, thank you. Great day. Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's. Beautiful.
I heard
Yeah.
Pascal in there. Hi, Pascal.
Yeah. Yeah, I just
Oh,
stopped a
there
little
he
bit
is,
on the
back with
side
the
of the road.
living. You're back with the living, Pascal. We were thinking, where were you? You
Yeah.
must have
he
been
just
under
got-
a bridge or something.
Well, he
We
was
I was
thought you were going to the
discovering
bridge.
myself.
deep discovery under the bridge. What is a troll, Pascal? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were thinking, are you with us?
Yeah, no, I'll share a little bit about on the share that Craig said about like illness and debilitating yeah, critical illness and all that. Because like I've been there about, I think it's about 12 years ago now. Been a little while. But I had a herniated disc, and I was off work for 8 months, and couldn't really walk. So didn't sleep in my bed for 8 months until I got the surgery done. And what I would say is the way I wasn't thinking about my pain, I was trying to distract myself. And I'm not saying it was the right thing, but at that time, that's all I knew. And now, when the pain comes back, it's never as agony or nothing like that. But I really feel the pain, and then if it's like it's attached to an emotion like anger and stuff, and then like I feel where the anger is coming from, and then like I go a lot deeper. So, and that's self-discovery. So for me, it's a huge win, to be aware of like not trying to mask the pain, because it's information for me, and it's just, yeah, it's you may say like, oh, it's bad information or good information, but it's just information. And this morning I was talking to a friend of mine, and then like, we were just kind of like catching up, you would say, and then I was asking him, have you been? He was like, oh, I just been to the hospital again. And I'm like, what happened? And then he was like, I had a panic attack. And my first thing was like, what is the cause of that? And they were like, well, they don't know, it says again, right? And doctor says they don't know. But what I feel is like, is people don't want to know the truth. If it says like, okay, well, it's because you're not giving enough self-love to yourself, like how like that person will react, right? So yeah, I think the truth hurt, and like people don't want to know. And then I think like even we got some really good doctor, it's not in the scope of work, right? So I think like that's why like our work is so important, because we're beyond illness, we're beyond everything else. It's really like about creating, right? So yeah, like yeah, it was a big reflection this morning, because like I'm like, yeah, you go to see a doctor, and he was like, oh well, yeah, but they don't have medication for me, it's not severe enough. And I'm like, would you really want medication? Because people are looking for that shortcut, and then to me it's a big no, right? So yeah, it's really realizing like where people are at, and accepting where they're at, right? So because if I tell my buddy, say like, yeah, I think you need more self-love, or you need more whatever, right? You'll look at me like, who is this? Right? So yeah.
Interesting, right? We're gonna modify our chemicals with other chemicals.
Mm.
And of course we do. Like I don't like medications, yeah, are amazing. Have been an amazing innovation. but reliance on them and dependency on them is a horrible, horrible consequence. And in all reality, if you think about it, it's we ourselves are releasing chemistries that are causing us to react, to respond to our environments. And then we say, oh, we'll take more drugs to counterbalance those chemicals.
Yeah, because based on my
Yeah, because the emotions are
experience,
chemicals too, right?
yeah, yeah,
But the
Yeah.
placebo, the plus, how you say placebo, yeah.
placebo, yeah,
Thank you. You know, that's another thing. You know, that you could. The mind is so powerful. It is the strongest thing that you can actually really work on, and because where the mind goes, the man will follow.
Mhm.
And that's where I feel also just to have the understanding of patience is because that's a form of love. It's the softest form of love is when you can be patient with someone. And I witnessed that in this call, and I witnessed it many times, and I'm witnessing it within myself because now I can be patient. I don't need to always like what Jenny said that I like because I don't need to always show my opinion. I don't always have to voice out, you know, what, but because of this, where I am with you guys and girls that are joining is my way of letting go and coming into the new because we're all experiencing the new for our very first time. I feel that for myself. And then you can witness it through somebody else saying something and you go, oh, wow. So the whole resonation that you're not doing this alone gives me great courage. Gives me great courage because when you have been a loner and you had to do it alone, it was just a season or time in your life that it had to be. But when you get to experience that you're not alone and there's this incredible divine interaction intervening, it's just, yeah. Like I'm baking in a moment and I'm cooking and I'm doing all these lovely things. I couldn't be any more happier. I mean, your voices, I could not be any more happier, you know? Like this to me, this is what I want. This is what I've always felt. This is what I've always knew. And I get to experience it now. And I'm not faking it. There's no need to fake it because this is real. And it's nothing about, oh, this or that, or what have I achieved, or what have I done, or this is this. No, you know, it's just the joy of having to experience this with everybody else, with everybody else. So that's to me, that's magic.
Mm. Yeah. Thanks, Nikki. And the placebo, you think that is without focus happens 30% of the time. Wow. Meaning without belief in it, it happens 30% of the time. Wow. Imagine if put focus on, we are powerful, and flipping that placebo, where it's more 100% of the time. That is what we can do with our attention, with our focus, with our energy.
that's why creating is so powerful, because when you're creating, your body's like, I'll produce this chemical, so I'll fix the body while you're creating.
Mhm.
Because you're beyond illness, so body was like, yeah, I guess he doesn't put so much focus into this, so what's the point of him being sick, right? He needs to be healthy. So he's creating.
Right.
Yeah, the body also listens constantly, all the time. It's constantly listening. So self-talk or whatever you're allowing you to process your thoughts, the body's saying, oh, okay. Is that that's what you're thinking? Oh, okay. It's exactly what you're thinking is what your body's telling you. It's gonna do. Because it's listening. So it's the same when we talk about going to the mirror and saying, oh, we're wealthy, or we're good looking or whatever. And you know that you're not, the body's gonna really now. So the truth does set you free when you can be aware of the truth, and have that conscious awareness of what you're literally thinking about, because what you think is who you become.
Mm-hmm.
This is how powerful the mind is.
That's right.
And that's when we can refocus all the time, because it's just it's a condition of practicing. It's a practice, constant practice. I've trained my body to be my mind. I don't let my body rule me. I tell my body what you're going to do today. This is what we're going to do. That means even if I'm tired, I still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Even if I haven't eaten, I'll still have respect to speak to my husband properly. You know what I mean? It's like, even if I feel, today was, it's a bit of a draining day. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to fulfill my purpose for the end of the day in giving my son his supper. So conditions are going to be there. It's how you recondition yourself in training your body. And it's a practice. It's not an obligation eventually, because when it becomes in a habit, it's like brushing your teeth.
That's
it really is.
That's the key. Just automatic. Rather
It's the
than
automatic.
negative patterns, we have positive patterns.
And that's the reconditioning of letting go and not allowing ourselves to be a slave to what we went through or what experiences or what we have to do, an obligation,
Right. No more than just once.
Yeah.
Right. You see this suffering obligation over and over again by just keep bringing the same thought in.
Constantly. And that is it's a slave. It's you're bound to that. You give it no other options, no other choices.
That's right.
Yeah. It's very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. And it's exciting, I'm just so excited. Like, for me, learning is fun. This to me is growth. Right? Yeah, it's growth. But yeah, like Craig had many years. He carried something in his body. Many people carrying many things in their body, and they're very physically sick. It's because of those things that they're not let go of, the regrets, the grudge, the hatred, the unforgiveness, holding on to something that somebody's died 20 years ago. They can't do anything about, but they're living it. And so it's a beautiful thing to be free of all that, and just say, thank you for the experience, thank you for the acknowledgement, thank you for the learnings, but now this is what I'm choosing. It's just beautiful. And I don't need to be in my masculine, because I had to be masculine growing up. I had to be the breadwinner. I had to be the survivor. I had to, but I am just as feminine, because I am feminine in every aspect of everything, because I have masculine now that I can drop into my feminine. I do not have to be all masculine and show up and, deliver. I can be my feminine. And I feel that men are coming as much as they are masculine, they're also coming into their feminine because they're coming in and dropping into their heart. And listening. Because you think men don't listen. They listen. They listen. They do listen. They won't say it immediately, but they do listen. So I love that. And so when,
And we have a long ways to go.
yeah,
for me,
well,
Nikki, it's been kind of, yeah. Yeah, I'm finding there's generally a lot of confusion around, there's a lot of confusion around what's, around the whole thing about self-discipline.
what's the confusion?
And, well, about whether it's beneficial or not.
What are we talking about now?
It's that compensation I was talking about. Like, I compensated for my resentment by overdoing. And there was a lot of self-discipline in that. But it nearly killed me.
It was also forced. It was a force. It was a much of more of a force that was a need that you needed to do, you know?
Right. An obligation.
Yeah, sure.
Obligation, responsibility, duty.
Yeah, sure. I hear that.
Yeah,
I hear that.
all that
Very,
stuff for
I hear
me.
that.
I mean, it's being untangled right now, but it was tangled up in a really big ball.
You know, a lot of people can also take advantage of that, you know, just because you
yeah.
provide and the obligation and everything. And I speak from my own experience now. You know, you can be doing everything, waking up also this very early hours in the morning, have to drive 45 minutes to get to work. And I still put my gym, I still worked out in that morning, had to go to work, come back, bring the food home, literally bring everything home. And I'm talking about, you know, provision. And it took advantage of that, you know, it took absolutely advantage. And all the money I was investing, it was actually being stolen every month. And the fact that you see when you trust and you're gullible or you're naive or you're just doing what you think that needs to be, this is what you need to do, you know, this is how you do it. People do take advantage, and there is people out there that do take advantage of you. I mean, we've all been taken advantage of somewhere in our lives. And that's just like what it is, in that knowing that it can create a lot of extreme amount of pain and a lack of trust. And then also, yeah, it's like, yeah. But when you can look within and say, oh, that's, yeah, you know, I did my part, I did my best. And I've always said that the fact that if somebody does their best, regardless if somebody's taken advantage of, if you do your best, that's all that's required. You're not responsible to take false responsibility for other people that have just, you know, that have actually taken that advantage and abused you. You know, financially, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And thank goodness you get to wake up and go, oh, I see, you know, because it takes two. It takes two. In everything. It's a response, of knowing, like, it's not just taking, it's also giving. It's a two-way street here. You can't be giving, as I am a giver, give, and never get back. Eventually you're going to say, no, that's a boundary. No, I'm sorry. Not even sorry. No, unapologetic. That's it. I see, I've had people come in, various things, family, family even coming, and I've given, and they're asking the same month, for the third time. And I said, hang on a minute, I've given you. This is enough now. Yeah. So this is where it's just like that need that you said, that you felt like it's a giving of a giving spirit, because you're just a giver and you want to please somebody. That's what your nature. It's just nature. It's just, you're either a giver or a taker. It's one or the either. And unfortunately the givers do get squashed once in a while. But then you got to realize, and you just got to understand that, okay, this is where I had to set a boundary. Because boundaries are self-act of love. You got to say no. Got to say no. Got to love somebody from a distance. Do not have to have them in your life. You can love them from a distance. You can also forgive them, but they do not have to be in your life. It's setting you free. It's you that needs to be set free, not them. And unfortunately, I've taken false responsibility my whole life for people, thinking it was my obligation to literally give them a life, give them happiness, make them feel that, it's yeah, it is. But it's not your responsibility. It's not an easy thing. That's not an easy thing to let go. It's never easy. But this is where forgiveness plays a very big part. It's not forgiving the other person. It's letting go that you can now live for you. Because most experiences in relationships, especially now we're talking Valentine's and relationship, a lot of times doesn't mean that there was something wrong with you or you did something wrong. It was just that person was not capable of holding on in a way of also conducting themselves appropriately and respectfully and loving, right? They were controlling and abusive. And that's where you had to say, my hands are tied here. You can be a victim all your life, but you're not a victim. You're a conqueror. You come here to be a victim. And so I had relationships that came and told me, I'm just a hairdresser. I'm just a hairdresser where I'm paying the bills. I'm putting food in the fridge. I'm cooking. What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? And in the end, because the end comes, later on comes. And then they'll come and say to you, oh, I wish I had a trade. I said, yeah, right. Bye. Thank you, but bye. Bye-bye. I'm just giving this little example. Bye-bye. Too late. Because you can only take so much. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And that's what I believe. Do something right for a long time that people can demonstrate, it can see, because I know that a lot of people come from different backgrounds. And I speak for myself. I needed somebody to love me for me in times when I didn't know. Right? I didn't know also how to forgive. Let me tell you. I also needed to know what is real love. Like, what is love? Till I discovered self-love. Because that was the gift that God gave to me. He loved me and he showed me, no matter who walks away what anyone does to you. I'm here for you. I will never leave you or forsake you. I'll never leave you as an orphan. I have a plan for you, a plan to prosper you, not to harm you, but give you a future. And let me tell you, where I came from and where I am now, I have a future. And everything that I've prayed for, I have right now. And that's concerning my son. To say, you know, that was something I've always wanted to be. And he's a mother. I wanted to be a mother. But a mother that I can raise my boy to know that he has a heart. And he can love and he can respect everybody equally, no matter who or what you come from. Yeah. And to me, that's my legacy, because I broke that cycle of dysfunction. And I also forgiven, because I knew that they could only give me what they could give me at the time. But I've let go of the false responsibility. I let go, let go, let go. And now I just don't take it personally. I don't take it personally. I get to just be now and just, yeah, let my wings open and fly. And even if I fall, get up. I just get over it. I get going. I just move on. I don't walk with a heavy heart that I'm gonna take revenge, or I'm gonna show you. No. That's not my nature. It's never been my nature. It's never been my nature. And I grew up feeling that I had to defend myself. No, that wasn't my nature. But in the circumstances, I had people taking advantage of me. But even in my own understanding of defending myself, you got to let it go eventually in your life. You got to let it go, because then you would just keep fighting with everybody. And that's not life. Life is not about fighting with everybody, you know? I had parents on the field yesterday, 2 guys, and they were heading butts with each other because of the game in the same team, hey? And I said, no, there's no fighting here. We're not going to fight over this. This is a game. Like, you've got to conduct yourselves now. You know, our boys are watching you. Behave. These are 2 grown adults getting really confrontation, like very mean to each other. It's like ridiculous. You know? So, just saying, it's just what it is.
Reactions, conditions, yeah, and it's all like intentions, focus, small pictures, yeah. Forgetting that we're forgetting, like you said earlier, that we all have a heart.
Like Pascal said, like, you know, we can disagree with agreeing. It's one of the best lines that I could really live by, because I love the fact that I can disagree to agree, because love wants the best for you. And when when you know people's hearts, I mean, you have common sense. It's very important to have common sense and to be able to use it, you know, because you can't be that gullible. And it's true. But when you can disagree with agreeing, in knowing that this person's got his right intention and he has a right for his opinion, and I've got to respect that. I don't have to agree, but I still have to respect that. That's the human condition of what is really following through to have a character that I want to have. And I don't need to be right, because for me, right is overrated. But in my life, I had to grow up fighting to be right, fighting to have my peace of mind, just have my sanity, keep my sanity, you know. I mean, so and growing up, and it is growing up, because this is the patterns that you're unlearning. You are growing now that my father had to be right, even when he was wrong. It wasn't a good example. And I looked at him and I said, you know, you've done something like really like below the belt here. I mean, this is like the obvious, right? But he would not ever apologize. And that hurt deeply, because he could never confront his wrongs. He could never say, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. He could never hear you out. He would not even hear you out. He would just use that force action, and that's it, the end of that. And I would just say, this, I can explain. So let me just explain at least. Let me explain. Didn't give me a chance to even explain. So you suppressed all that, and then you get beaten on, and then it's just something dies in you. Literally dies in you. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, you know, I talk about living. I died at the age of 12. I died at that. Something happened to me. I died. My spirit, everything died. I did not feel. I didn't allow myself to feel, man. For me to say I'm living is like the best thing ever, because I was walking dead. And when you can come into this life and experience it, when you could only imagine it as a child, what you want, yeah, to have connections, to have people that just love you, for just and have just laughter and fun, and know that you can have a gathering and you don't have to fight about it. You don't have to walk around with all this aggression. You know, you can just share your heart and learn the experience and then move on. But yeah, that was not my life. I did not live like that. I did not experience that half my life. And then you're proving it to somebody that you're never going to get it. You're never going to receive. You never received. Yeah. So it's exhausting. It's just so exhausting. And yeah, you just come into this realization. You say, thank you that I didn't, you know, I pursued and I believed and I trusted, but I loved, because I love my father. And I can say that honestly, I do. I'm not, with no regrets. I love him because I have made that peace. And because I've made that peace, I can get into relationships now. Yeah, with the opposite sex, more than the opposite sex, because now I don't see my father in them. I see who they are. And to me, that is the best gift ever. They're not coming to attack me. They're not going to overpower me. They're not going to abuse me. They're not going to, you know, because in the end, my father did try his best, and he did do his obligation to go to work every day and give us food on the table. Yeah. And he did try his absolute best in his own way. He was emotionally immature. He wasn't developed, you know, and then you got to look back and you got to see the patterns. He lost his father at 12. He didn't have a father at 12, and he had 11, 12 brothers and sisters to look after. Do you know what I mean? So he had to give up. He had to sacrifice. He had to leave everything. Or, you know, he couldn't finish. And you know, but yeah, he told himself, and you know, he read the newspaper, and he was very, when I say read the newspaper, he was highly like alert of what's happening in the world, and you know, he spoke English and Afrikaans, and he could write it and speak it. Where I was raised as English because my mother was English. But I'm just saying, you know, he did his best. You got to look at the best of people. You got to see the good in people. Got to see the good in people, what they're trying to do, you know, and when you see what they came from and where they came from, then you go, oh, now I understand. Because my dad just followed through what his father did with him. Much, much worse, by the way. So I'm just giving this understanding that it's just, yeah, it's
And new numbers are out from the CDC that say teenagers, especially young women, are like 67% unhappy.
yeah,
Hopeless.
yeah.
Something in our patterns are off.
Oh my God. Yeah, and I saw that in myself. Because it was so obvious. And you know, there is such a thing as daddy issues. There is such a thing. Trust me, there is such a thing. And because that is
And
the
mommy
first
issues.
and mommy issues, very much mommy issues, very much. But I'm just saying, for myself, for me as a you know, it's the first person you see that loves that you. It's the first person that loves you, you know, or the person that should love you, or you look at them and you build your relationships on that till you can articulate later on in your life and say, oh, no, that's not what it is. And luckily, I did have relationships outside my home, and I could see it's not like it is in my home than it's in their home. I could see a different perspective. And when I traveled, it even broadened my perspective even more. And then I went, oh, wow, this is like a whole wow. Okay, cool. Yeah. And so, yeah, it didn't happen overnight, but I can tell you the best relationship you have is with yourself. No one can give you what you can give yourself, and that is the truth. That's the truth. They can come halfway, but you can't expect them to make you happy. It's your responsibility to make yourself happy. That's your full responsibility to tell somebody else, oh, you must make me happy. Are you kidding me? No, make yourself happy.
I got a question for you, Nikki.
Yes.
Do you believe that we choose our parents in this lifetime?
Yes, we do. My mother was my best teacher. And I'm grateful for this answer. Because once I came to the realization that my mother was my best teacher, she showed me how to love. Because she could not love. Okay? And not only that, I understood that she had to come in that form as a matriarch, as somebody that is as powerful in my little mind of knowing the most important person in my life. She was the most important person in my life. She was my best teacher. And I thanked her, and I thank her, and I keep thanking her. Thank you for teaching me that. Because I wouldn't know about what real love is. Love for me, you know? She taught me love.
You understand why you choose this
life
with your father.
Yes.
And your mom.
Thank you. Yes, they're the best teachers ever. Yeah.
Because fundamentally, like, you're here to learn lessons, right?
Yes.
So
yeah, they
when
were definitely
you're able to find those lessons, then you're like, oh my God, like I'm growing so much, right?
Yeah.
So
it's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. It's innocent and it's just beautiful. And that's why I can come now and even know that the overseeing part is that because I wasn't seen by her, you know, it was something I was striving to be her, to love her, to be loved by her, but not only to be loved by her, but to be her best friend. I wanted to be her best friend, you know? But as a little person, you can't really understand the multitudes of what's going on in her life, because she was abandoned by her father. I'm just saying, and she was raised by a mom of 3 kids, and you know, came from a very wealthy and struggled, and you know, anyway, I'm just saying, you know, she had her wounds, as you want to say, you know, and also my relationship and everything. This is why I feel the relationships with people, I always think, why is it so important to me? Is because I saw 2 very dysfunctional people, you know, and I thought, this is not normal. This is not normal. And I knew it from a very young age. And when I told my sisters, this is not normal, hey? This is really not normal, that we couldn't speak, because if we speak out, we get punished. And they were petrified. We're all petrified. If my dad said jump, you jump. If he called you from the other side of the house, you better run. Run, boy. Like, you better be there. It was military. It was very strict. But it was a control, because he was out of control. Follow. He needed that. He needed to feel. And that's all these things that I experienced. I can now say, wow, I'm free of that. Because I went through the lessons, but I also know the reason behind it. So now there's no attachment, you know. There's no attachment. I can just see and go, thank you very much. But yeah.
Because when you know that, you know, you choose this family, and then you know which lesson you want to learn,
exactly,
then it puts meaning in your life, right? So I feel like
totally
kids that they're not happy these days is because they don't feel important. They don't know what they're here for.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but if they would look deeper and see like why they're here, then that would help a lot.
But also vice versa. Like, but Charles is also my teacher, very much my teacher. And I'm so grateful that I can, when I say humble myself, because I am humble, I'm saying that with grace, just with grace, yeah? Because when he says certain things, I go, whoa, hello, attention, attention, attention. And I see myself going, wow, I'm actually like in control, that I do not have to be in control, but learning what he's teaching me now. And when I say, whoa, because just maybe 2 years ago when I was in was it Costa Rica? No, we were in Spain. There was the incident that he taught me, and he looked at me and said, I see this, Aid. You know, he said something, I see it, a pattern. He saw a pattern in me, you know? And he did it just like openly, like nothing judgmental, nothing disrespectful, you know, just shared. He said, you know, I see this, and you need to let it go, you know? And I went, wait a minute. And I felt it trigger, hey? I felt it, hey? Ooh, felt it like, ooh, that I felt it. And I said, wait a minute, like, hang on, like, whoa, take a breath. And I was so grateful that I could get into that understanding to say, you know, and I'm so thankful, I really am, that I could go to him and say, Charles, you're right, yeah? And thank you for pointing that out, because truthfully, you've set me free, because I'm acknowledging that now. And for what it's worth, I am letting it go. And thank you for that. He looked at me, and I could sense that he was like, cool. You know what I mean? It was like, cool. And that, I'm just saying, you know, that to me was a lesson of allowing me to know what I've gone through, that I can step back a little bit and go, okay. Because when a person feels wrong and was told their whole life there's something wrong What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And there's people that verbalize that constantly. I hear it all day long. What's wrong with you? And I don't allow it in my studio. I don't allow it around me. I said, no, nothing's wrong with anybody here. Okay. If you're going to speak to somebody, you speak to them with respect. But there's nothing wrong here. Okay. You don't verbalize, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, that's so dumb. And you hear it constantly. And so when you get told that there's something wrong with you, when you feel wrong, it's very hard to feel right. So you have to think that you have to prove yourself all the time. Yeah. And that's a magnet of defense. But when you can know that there's nothing wrong with you, you're not broken, you are whole, you are complete, and you just made an error or something, or for whatever reason, but you can just say, okay, what do you want me to know? Or how can I help you? Or how can I make this better? Or get to the solution. Get to the solution, because there's problems we're facing every single day. We're not going to get rid of our problems. Same as we're going to deal with conflict all day. It's true. As long as we're with people, we're going to deal with this all day long. But get to the solution. Like, what is the solution here? Are we going to continue and speak about it, or are we going to get to a solution? Yeah. And all you can do is do your part, and the other person has to do their part. But if they're not willing to do their part, then you can't force that. But that is the obligation of we thinking, oh, they got to do what we say, or they got to think like what we're thinking. And what sometimes the space of just giving them the space and saying, okay, we'll talk later, or maybe not talk at all. It's okay. Yeah, I think that's very freeing. For me personally, I think it's very freeing. And I'm very thankful that I don't need anyone to really receive or even receive my message. That's what I love what you said, Pascal, yesterday. When you speak in your truth, you don't need any more validation. You don't need anybody to come along and pat you on the back and say, yeah, you're doing right. Because I thought I needed permission for everything. I was so scared to do things wrong. I was so scared to disappoint people, because it was like shamed when I disappointed my dad, or shamed when I didn't accomplish something that he wanted me to, So it's that letting go of that identity of saying, I'm free. I'm just free. Just free. But I'm also here to learn. I'm here to evolve. And we need that because we need to change. And that is because change is necessary. We can say the same old, but nothing's gonna happen if we don't make the change. If we don't make the change. Because we're asking everybody else to make changes, or come along with me, or follow me. No. I don't need to be on stage. You know what I mean? I don't need to be up front there, like, I'm very comfortable wherever I am, because it's where I want to be. So the fact that that's it. That's my truth. And for me to know my truth has set me free. And so that's where, I have people around me that that can enjoy me as a person, because good energy doesn't lie. I mean, and I have this one woman that we're very friendly with, very good friends with, yes, we are made. But she's also in the soccer mom and all that. But it was so beautiful to witness, her love for me. It was just so encouraging. Just being in her presence made me feel so good. It was so nice. There was like, yeah, and there's just no competition. There's no comparison. She's very comfortable in her skin. She's, she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a career woman. She's comfortable. She's just comfortable with who she is. And it's a give and take. And I thought, isn't this beautiful to witness? It's just beautiful to be able to witness that. But everybody's in their own lane. You don't have to come into my lane. I don't come to your lane, but we can enjoy each other, you know? And that, I feel that's where the gifts come out, because then we can all come out with our gifts, because everyone's got a gift. Yeah. We're all geniuses here. We all got something. And to me, that's our heart. Because before the brain beats, the heart beats before the brain. And that's what I feel. They say the first brain is the gut. I feel it's the heart. Because it's two brains, right? It's the mind, the heart, and the gut.
I agree. The heart starts about week 6.
Yeah.
All cells are just coming together. The gut is always there. It's like,
Yes.
but it's in response to your mother.
Exactly. And where it comes from your mother is the capability of being worthy and being capable.
Or whatever your mother's patterns were.
Yeah.
You felt that.
Oh.
You trained to it. Because you carry the same pattern in that way. Now you'll go out into the world and uniquely create it yours. But that's when the mind, after year 4 to 6, when the mind begins to use the words, connect it to it, and that becomes at 4, we say, this is our truth.
Jeez. Drop the mic.
Limited perspective that we are always in every situation. So the common denominator, it must be me.
Oh my God. Is it? I just love it when people finishes like that, like the sentence, like so beautifully, because whatever I explain, forget about it. Just listen to Jess. That was it. That was just beautifully said. Like, that's it. Rest my case.
There was no space without you creating it. So thank you. All right, guys. I am complete. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for your space.
Very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very healing. Very healing.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge you, Nikki, for saying that your son is a teacher of yours, because a lot of parents are, if say my son says, mom, why are you so angry when you're talking to dad? And like a lot of parents would be like, I don't want to hear it, right? Like they're just kind of like push it away. And just that you really acknowledge what your son was saying, that you're giving meaning to his life, Yeah. You're really like showing that like he's here for a reason. And that's important. So it's important to know that he chose you.
He did choose
right?
me.
So
yes, he did.
And to understand why he chose you instead of another family, that's important. And then like, why did you choose your parents, right? So so when you come to that understanding, then like you put meaning to your life. So
and that meaning, and that Jess says about purpose. Without purpose, there's no progress. That's the meaning of life, that having to have to know that. And I feel that generationally, I knew that I had to break that. Bloodline. It was something that was put on to me also. And so I literally and as I say, for many, many, many years, I can truly say that I'm only now feeling the what I call my fruits of my labor. So whatever I labored, I'm enjoying my fruits now, because I'm a worker. I'm a worker. And so with the fruits of my labor, I've always said I will enjoy my fruits of my labor. I don't mind working hard, but I want to at least reap the fruits, that I'm not just going in vain. I'm not just going through the motions. And that's when I say living, that's what I mean. And it's a beautiful way of expressing myself, because my life, it's meaningful. I'm just like Craig says, my heart's pretty good. It's a wonderful thing to have that self-image to say, my life means something. I'm here to be significant. I'm here for a purpose. I'm not just going through the motion. And I'm not here to save the world, but what I am here is I'm part of the world. And whatever contribution I can do, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability till the day I die. So for me to have that awareness and that understanding and to share it with others, because what I've done today, I don't think I've ever said in my whole life. This is like literally, like it's just, the vulnerability is like, are you serious? But this is where healing comes, is when they're listening. Because people do know what they know, and they just need to express it, to let it go, and to have the compassion, the recognition to say, I hear you and I'm proud of you, because we all need to be heard and we all need to say, I'm proud of you. And I'm very thankful for that. So thank you. Love you guys. Happy Valentine's. Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine. Yeah, I love you guys. So we're complete.
We're complete.
All right. Have a wonderful day, guys.
You muted, Jesse. Okay, cheers. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys. Love you too.
Bye.